Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Monday, August 19th, 2024. And if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet in the MLB, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Monday, a new week in Major League Baseball. First up, we see the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Miami Marlins. We're going to see Brandon Pfaadt for Arizona, no official starter for the Marlins. Now, the Diamondbacks struggled this weekend in Tampa Bay. The Marlins took down the Mets outright on Sunday, in a nice underdog win. But I still like the Diamondbacks in this game. I think overall, in the second half of the season, Arizona's been playing really competitive baseball. I like their offense, and I like Brandon Pfaadt on the mound. He didn't have his best start in his last game against the Rockies, but still was a win in the end. It was 7 innings, a 4-run ball. He had 11 strikeouts, so it's really not a bad outing. And so far in the second half of the season, he's pitched pretty well. Had a little bit better July than so far in August, but I think he's a good option. I think, the Diamondbacks have won a lot of his games recently, the last 4 and 6 of the last 7. So give me the Diamondbacks in this one on the money line and run line. Next up, the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. No official starter for Cincinnati, but Kevin Gausman going for Toronto. The Blue Jays have won his last 6 starts. He's been a very profitable option recently for a team that's still not doing too well, but they've scored 5+ runs in his last 6 starts. And when you look at the Reds, they've hit right in at pitching very well in the last 30 days, but it's tough to go against Gausman, and I don't love that Blue Jays bullpen. So right now, I'm just going to go with the first 5 innings with the Blue Jays. I could see if this is a close game late, Cincinnati having the advantage, but give me the Blue Jays in the first 5 on the money line. Next up, the Baltimore Orioles taking on the New York Mets. We're going to see Trevor Rogers and David Peterson as your starters. Now, Trevor Rogers not fared too well in his first 3 starts with the Orioles, giving up 5 earned runs in 2 of those 3 games. But I think this is a decent matchup for him against the Mets team. It's just been lackluster against lefties in the last 30 days, while the Orioles are above league average in terms of team OPS and 6th in WRC plus against southpaws. So when you look at David Peterson, yeah, he's great numbers on paper, 7-1 record, profitable pitcher, 3.04 ERA, but the expected ERA remains really steep. The walks are still there. He's given up 3 or more walks in 4 of his last 5. The Orioles have a pretty high walk rate against lefties in the last month as well. I think it's a good matchup for the Orioles bats, and I think Rogers puts together a bounce-back start. I'm going to go with the O's in this one on the money line on the road. Next up, the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Texas Rangers. We're going to see Luis Ortiz for Pittsburgh, no official starter for the Rangers. Ortiz was pitching really well out of the bullpen, not so much as a starter. The Pirates have lost his last 4 games. Now, both of those were against tough teams, the Diamondbacks and the Padres. This is a little bit better matchup here against the Rangers, but I think the Rangers can get to Ortiz. This is a Rangers team that's had really big issues with runners in scoring position recently, but I still think they have a lot of talent in that lineup. Obviously, the World Series champions from last year. I'm not ready to give up on their offense quite yet. I think this could be a breakout spot for them. We'll see who the official starter is for Texas, but I'm going to lean towards the Rangers in this one for now. Next up, the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Kansas City Royals. We're going to see Carson Fulmer and Seth Lugo as your starters. I know Seth Lugo struggled mightily in his last 2 games against the Red Sox and Twins, but I don't think the Angels are the Red Sox and Twins. In fact, the Angels in the last month, 27th in baseball in team OPS against righties with a 24% strikeout rate. So I think it's a much better matchup here for Lugo, who's still put together a great season overall. We mentioned the regression concerns in his game, but I think he'll be the better option in this one. I also think the Royals have the much better lineup and bullpen to go with it. So I'm willing to back Lugo and the Royals in this game. I think they have a nice offensive showing against Fulmer and the Angels bullpen. So give me the Royals on the run line at Kauffman Stadium. Next up, the Boston Red Sox taking on the Houston Astros. Tanner Houck and Yusei Kikuchi are your starters. I'm going to lean towards the over and the Red Sox in this game. Yusei Kikuchi does not have great numbers in his career against the current Red Sox hitters. In 52 plate appearances, he has a 23% strikeout rate, which is not too bad, but a 751 expected slugging percentage is very, very steep. And in fact, he faced the Red Sox earlier in the season when he was a member of the Blue Jays. And in that game, he gave up 4 home runs in 4 innings of work, 5 earned runs to go with it. And that wasn't even at Fenway Park. It was at Rogers Center. So really tough outing there and a 7-3 loss. I think the Red Sox get to him. They've been great against lefties in the last month. But I also think the Astros against Tanner Houck, who they only struck out once in 6 innings against back on August 9th. I know it was a good outing for Houck, but I think the Astros the second time around can get to him for a few runs. Give me the over and Red Sox Astros. Next up, we see the San Diego Padres taking on the Minnesota Twins. We're going to see Zebby Matthews and Michael King as your starters. I thought Matthews pitched really well in his Major League debut against a tough Royals team. 5 innings, 2 runs, just really one mistake pitch in that one, which was a home run. It was a big home run, but nonetheless, 5 strikeouts and no walks given up. And that's the key. He doesn't really walk a lot of guys. In the minor leagues, he had some of the best walk numbers in terms of the lowest walk numbers in all of the minor leagues. So I think as long as he throws strikes here and doesn't make too many mistakes down the heart of the zone, he should pitch well against a Padres team that's coming off a Coors Field series and has no days off in between. I expect some sluggish bats for San Diego, but I also think Michael King is a good option on the other side for the Friars. I'm going to go with the Twins and the under in Twins-Padres. Next up, the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Oakland Athletics. We're going to see Taj Bradley and Joe Boyle as your starters. The Rays had a pretty nice weekend offensively against Arizona, and I think they can get to Joe Boyle for a few runs early. I think this could be a nice bounce-back spot for Taj Bradley, who has been struggling in his last couple of games, but still is putting together a solid campaign. 112 strikeouts and 95 and a third innings for him. He earlier in the season had some struggles on the road, but outside of that last game against St. Louis, Bradley was pitching well on the road. So I think we see a Rays win and run line cover, but just give me the Rays on the money line. Next up, the Chicago White Sox taking on the San Francisco Giants. Jonathan Cannon and Kyle Harrison are your starters. Harrison's pitched better at Oracle Park this season with a 3.64 ERA. He gets to face a White Sox team that in the last month has not been great against lefties or righties, but against left-handed pitching, they're dead last in team OPS, 508 with a 6.063 isolated power, dead last by far in the last 30 days, and a high strikeout rate to go with it. I think Harrison puts together 6-7 strong innings. Jonathan Cannon has actually been a decent option for the White Sox in his last few starts. His last 5 games, 3 earned runs or fewer in 4 of those 5. San Francisco's offense in the last couple of weeks not been the strongest. Give me the under at a pitcher-friendly ballpark in White Sox-Giants. And the final game I'm going to talk about for the Monday card in Major League Baseball, the Mariners and the Dodgers. Brian Wu and Gavin Stone are your starters. Seattle's offense has been rather inconsistent recently. We saw him score only 2 runs on Saturday, then erupt for 10 runs and a big win on Sunday. I think they can get to Gavin Stone for a few runs. He had a pretty good outing in his last game, but overall in his last 5 starts, he hasn't been the best. Brian Wu's in great form. He's going to have an underrated season right now because we talk a lot about guys like Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, and Luis Castillo in this Mariners rotation, but Brian Wu, 5-1 with a 2.06 ERA. I know the Dodgers are a tough lineup, but Freddie Freeman questionable for this one. I got to go with the Seattle Mariners at a pretty good price on the money line on the road. And that's it. Those are the games for Monday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Put those baseball picks in the comment section below. And again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.